in the middle of my junior year, I actually got expelled and moved to a different school called Perkiomen. And I studied at Carnegie Mellon University for my undergrad and got a major in statistics and machine learning.
Oh, so I had no clue at all that you got expelled. Welcome back to LifeLibrary. We're delighted to be here today, extending a warm welcome to our guest Zen, a Carnegie Mellon graduate. Zen, it's a pleasure to have you join us for this interview and thank you for taking your time.
Thank you for having me.
So Zen, I'd like to start off by asking you, how does your educational journey look like?
I'd start off by saying it's untraditional. I started off my middle school in a international school called ISB. I moved to the US in 9th grade to a school called Berkshire. And in the middle of my junior year, I actually got expelled and moved to a different school called Perkiomen. And I studied at Carnegie Mellon University for my undergrad and got a major in statistics and machine learning. And that's my education journey.
Oh, so I had no clue at all that you got expelled. But let's backtrack to talk about what factors were you involved in whether to change from high schools in Thailand to the US?
Sure. So I have an older brother who studies in the US as well. For me, having seen him going to study in the US, it was a pretty no-brainer that I would probably go there as well. So I did my best to prepare for the tests and the applications way early in the middle school years.
And so when you moved to Berkshire, what do you think were like different between ISB and the environment there?
So I'd start off with the demographics. So ISB is pretty international, but there's a significant Thai population and a population from all demographics abroad. But at the boarding school that I went to, it was 80% American Caucasian and less than 10% are actually of Asian. I was the only Thai student there. So I pretty much started off fresh and started a new social life there. So quite a big shift.
Yeah, that is quite big because most of the international students in most of the international schools in Bangkok are Thai based with occasional international students, but now it's completely shift. And what caused you to get expelled from Berkshire?
To keep the long story short, the cause is about trust. The conflict was between me and my roommate. We had a fight. And the result is I have to move school or they will boot me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't given a lot of options then. The clear thing is I have to move school. I was given 2 weeks, 14 days to find a new school before my visa to the US expires. So there's 3 plans. The first is to find a school in the US that will take me, which is pretty difficult given the short time span. The second option is to move to another school system. So we were thinking Australia because the timing, I got expelled in the middle of the year. So I'd like to start at a new school system that didn't delay my education for too long.
Yeah, new school year.
Yeah, and the third option would be to go back to the Thai school, maybe international, maybe Thai system. But that would mean a whole year cycle because I got off middle of the year, right?
Right, so you would have to go.
I had to wait. Right. So those were the 3 options. Looking in hindsight, it was quite unbelievable that I made and stick to the plan A. I found a school and it was difficult. It was not easy. Yeah.
That is a definite unique experience, especially when you ended up at Carnegie Mellon. So how did your second high school prepare you for CMU?
It was unlike the first school. This one is not prestigious. It is majority not white, actually. What really helped is the school allows you to apply unlimited number of schools. A lot of schools cap your application to only say 10 schools, 7 schools. This school you can apply 42. There's a kid that did that.
42 applications.
42 applications and got 1.
And got 1
and got 1 in. Yes.
That's quite funny.
So that's really good. I applied to 19. I took advantage of it.
You took it to 19?
Yeah,
So
I'm not lazy.
How did your application look like? What extracurriculars or how did your grades look like?
So one thing to be clear, I moved to 3 schools. I started off at ISB in 9th grade, and then I went to Berkshire and then Perkiomen. So with this kind of profile, there's no way I can like start off in a club since freshman year and then grow to a president by the senior or junior year. It just isn't possible. So my extracurricular is really underperforming. What I have to perform is my academics and my test scores.
So how was your academics and test scores?
It was well. It was not a problem.
How do you mind sharing how much you got in terms of GPAs at the system in the US?
Sure. So my GPA was a 3.9 and my SAT 1 is a 1520 and my subject test Math 2 is an 800 and my last subject test was AP History. Oh no, subject test History, US History, 750, which isn't that high. It was just par, fine.
Wow.
And my junior year, I took 6 AP tests, took AP classes, yeah.
So he definitely made up for the extracurriculars that he has lost throughout the high school journey through his grades. But do you think that maybe that was a key factor of why you got into CMU?
I like to think so. So different schools in the US have different criterias. Some like kids with like medals, some like kids with good grades, some like kids with unique profiles. So I wouldn't say my unique profile helped me in a good way. If anything, it's a con. So I was trying to appeal to the academic side, and CMU prefer kids with good academics. So it helped out.
Yeah, that is quite a really good point that he pointed out, is that especially in the US, you would say that different schools require different types of students and different characteristics for sure.
It differs by year too. Yeah.
And do you think that there were some key challenges that you encountered during the application process when you were applying in your senior year?
My senior year, huh? So it was a bit too easy. I got to the point where it becomes systematized. And once it becomes systematized, like I was able to apply to 19 schools. So like I got it into a process. And
19 is actually still quite a lot. Like most of the average that people tend to apply for is 10 to 12. Yeah. So can you kind of like dig into how you actually managed to write so basically Common App essay, then maybe the UC essays, and then the supplement essays for each school as well. How did you manage to balance that with your high school life?
Oh, there's no high school life. Like I said, I moved in my middle of my junior year. I didn't plan to have friends there. I just know what I have to do. I have to get from A to B, which is to college. So I put my priorities first. Looking in hindsight, I don't regret it. 1.5 years isn't enough time really to make like long friend connections. But back to your question about how I prepared the different schools. I just had a lot more forethought. Like I started thinking about applying since like my summertime.
Wow.
So I tried to get it rolling. Since then, I applied to like 5 before school, like senior year started.
Before senior year started?
Yeah, I had to prepare. So like I have a different profile. Back then, I'm really insecure that my expulsion would hinder my application process a lot. So I was really insecure that I wouldn't get into a good college. I applied as many as I can to try to help with the odds, the probability that I'll get into one. So more than anything, I'm scared of not getting into a school.
He's definitely created such a unique profile that I've never even encountered before, especially applying to 19 schools after expulsion and still getting into one of the most prestigious schools in the US, which is Carnegie Mellon, obviously. So to you, the question that most people would want to know is why Carnegie Mellon out of the others?
So I got into maybe 7, maybe like around 7 or 8 schools. In the end, I boiled down to 2 schools, which was CMU and Emory. So CMU, Carnegie Mellon, is ranked 26th nationally at the time, and Emory was ranked 20. So in the national ranking point of view, Emory outperforms CMU. But my intended major is engineering for sure. So I would prefer looking at the engineering ranking, which CMU definitely outperforms. It was a difficult decision. I took a campus tour to both, but ultimately I looked at the post-graduation salary and CMU outperforms in that regard. So all things aside, money first for me.
So it's actually a really good factor to point out that when deciding for universities, the ranking could differ day by day, like year by year, like certainly. So when you look at the major you want to intend to like apply to, would you think that's a better ranking to compare like two universities, like what major you want to apply to and where they rank in that?
It depends on what kind of outcome you want out of the college. Sure, like there's different rankings and there's different angles to look at, but ultimately it's your angle that you want to care the most about.
Yeah.
So I care about money, I care about engineering school, I don't care about the national reputation, I just care about what I want to do afterwards. So it worked out and I enjoy the decision. I think I don't regret it at all. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your high school path to Carnegie Mellon, and the next video will be about his university life and his first job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.